Did anybody say they have to go to the moon?
Why is there so much fire and noise with the rocket? Do astronauts ever get scared?
The kids have to get to the moon.
What do they eat up there on the moon?
Do astronauts ever cry? Do astronauts ever get angry?
How do you go to the party when you fly to the moon?
Do astronauts have mothers and dads?
I wondered about those things too. Have you? I guess most people wonder what astronauts are really like. Whether they're some kind of robot or Superman, or whether they're real people with thoughts and feelings like ours. A few weeks ago, I was able to find out because an astronaut called me on the telephone. Major Alfred Worden is his name. I have a picture of him. There it is. Major Worden told me that he knew many families who think a lot about the things we talk about on television. And he knew that some of those things had been hard things to talk about. And he asked if I'd like to help children better understand the Apollo 15 flight to the moon. Well, I told him I couldn't do that by myself. So I asked him if I could come to talk with him before he went to the moon. You see, I wanted to ask him some of the questions we've been wondering about. I had already written many of the children's questions on sheets of paper like this and had saved them because children's questions are important to me. And so when Major Worden told me I could come to meet him, I put the questions in one of our neighborhood envelopes and I printed his name on the front. Major Alfred Worden. And I went to Florida to meet an astronaut. I met astronaut Worden in the launch room of the Kennedy Space Center, the room which is filled with some of the machinery that helps rockets get started to the moon.
I'm very happy that you're here.
May I just launch right into the questions?
Certainly.
These are questions that reflect children's concerns about exploration in space.
Well, they're probably the same concerns that everyone has, friend.
Did anybody say you had to fly to the moon?
No, nobody said I had to fly to the moon. It was my own choice to come in the program. Once I was in the program, then assigned to a crew, then it was no longer my choice. I was on that crew, and I would go to the moon on that crew. But to come into the program was my choice.
Did you have a mother and father when you were a little boy?
Yes, I certainly did have a mother and father, and I still do, and they're still living in Michigan. And so are my brothers and sisters. I've got 3 brothers and 2 sisters living there.
Does your father have a job still?
Yes, sir, he certainly does. He goes to work every day, just like I do and just like you do, and he works in a movie theater in my hometown.
Were you able to go to his theater when you were a boy?
It certainly was. I watched some movies with him when I was a little boy.
Does your mother work too?
Yes, my mother works. She works as a secretary back in my hometown.
Great. Did you ever get angry when you were a little boy?
Oh, I certainly did. It seemed like I was angry a lot of the time. In a large family like I grew up in, with 6 children, it seemed like we were angry with one another quite often.
And you were able to say so?
Certainly did.
And work it out?
Absolutely.
How do you think the moon will look close up, you know, when you're right close to it?
I haven't been that close to the moon, but I guess I'd say that the moon probably looks very much like some of the country we have here. It probably looks very much like the desert in the southwest part of the United States. Very similar to that, as a matter of fact.
One child wanted to know if you would be scared at all. Do you think you'll be scared? That's what they said.
I can't put it in good words, probably, but the answer to the question is yes. We're going a long ways away from the Earth. We're going in a very, very small compartment. It's going to be very lonely where we're going. We'll be in touch with people only by radio. And I think, yes, I think we all do things now and then that we want to do, but which scare us just a little bit. And I feel that way about this flight.
But you'll be in touch with people in this room even, will you?
That's right. We'll be in touch with the people in this room. They'll be watching us and watching our spacecraft and watching over us all the time.
Now, I mentioned to one of my friends that somebody was going to ride a car on the moon. And that friend of mine just smiled and said, "Do you mean somebody's really going to ride a car?"
Yes, that's right. We have a car, and the 2 fellows that are going to go to the moon with me will drive that car on the moon. And as a matter of fact, during the flight, you should be able to see that car because there'll be a television camera that will watch that car as it's driving.
One child wanted to know, do little children ever go to the moon?
No, we don't have any little children yet that we would take to the moon. And in fact, we don't have any ladies yet that go to the moon. The only ones we sent to the moon so far are the men that are in the program that I'm in. I think someday we will send ladies and we will send children.
But they'll be well taken care of, and it'll be well understood before they do go.
Oh, it certainly will be like getting in an airplane and flying maybe from Kennedy Space Center to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Now, are space suits heavy? So many children wondered, you know, when you walk around in space, whether those suits that you wear are heavy, and do you need people to help you get dressed in those suits?
The spacesuits are very heavy. In fact, the suits weigh about 70 pounds, which is fairly heavy to carry around all the time. Now, as to getting into the suits, yes, you have to have somebody help you into the suit because the suits are very tight fitting. They have a very tight zipper on them, and they're very difficult to get into, so we have to have somebody help us on with the suits. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Why are space suits white?
Space suits are white because white reflects the sun. And one of the problems in space is that without the atmosphere that we have around us to cut the rays from the sun and make it cooler here, the sun shining on you or on the spacesuit is very hot. And so we have the white suit so that it reflects that sunlight and we don't get hot inside.
Al, I'd like to know for myself, do you wear those spacesuits all the time?
No, we only wear spacesuits when there's any question about keeping our atmosphere around us inside the cockpit of the spacecraft. So we wear it during launch, and then we wear it any time that we're going to open a hatch, or we're going to go between our spacecraft and the one that's going to land on the moon. The rest of the time during the flight, we wear just a set of coveralls, and it's very comfortable. They're lightweight coveralls that we wear over our constant wear garments. A constant wear garment is just a fancy name for long underwear, and they're just like Granddad used to wear, exactly the same thing. And then over the constant wear garment, or the long underwear, we wear a pair of coveralls. And we wear those when we're not wearing a spacesuit.
How do you go to the potty when you're flying to the moon? A very young friend of mine asked that and was concerned about it.
Well, I think that's a very, very good question. And bless children for asking the question, because sometimes grown-ups don't like to ask those sorts of questions, and I think children are honest and open enough so that they'll ask that kind of a question. But we go to the potty on the way to the moon and back, just like we do here on the ground. The only difference is that when we make a BM, we collect it in a plastic bag, and we save it, and we bring it back with us.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's exactly the same as here on Earth.
Now, one child wanted to know, do spacemen ever get thirsty?
Oh yes, we get thirsty all the time. And we carry along our water supply with us, and we have all the water that we care to drink. And in fact, probably not known by a lot of people, is that we make our own water as we go. The equipment that supplies us with electrical energy to run all of the systems that we have produces water. And we collect that water and we drink that water on the way.